Hi, Kevin Blanche, back to Fukushima meltdown nightmare and the media's role in this whole thing. As you know, Rupert Murdoch has been accused, and Cameron over in the UK, of manipulation through the media and control of politics. Sound familiar? You watch my intro video as I talk about what is the statistical probability of a nuclear meltdown, and I talk about the return of King George University, Rupert Murdoch. This all madness all started in the 90s with two guys, Rupert Murdoch and Alan Greenspan, the science fiction economist. Both John Birch Society and ran radical, extreme to the right, mentally ill nutcases. Them two, those two guys are the most powerful men in the last 50, 60 years. More powerful than the Bin Laden fairy tale. More powerful than both Bushes put together. More powerful than Clinton. And speaking of Clinton, the day he signed NAFTA in 1994, you think I rant and rave? You ought to see me rant and rave then and go freaking crazy. Let's talk about we have returned to everything that we fought against in the Revolutionary War. A Christian version, a version of God, fake Christianity that controls our society. Media controls our political outcome. Wars, Christian crusades all over the world. If you're not born into the right hierarchy of structure, you are nothing more than a peasant and a unit of labor for life. Sound familiar? We've turned into everything. And for you, I don't know about you, and this is no slam on you citizens of the UK. You know, I'm talking about the hierarchy. I've had about a gutful of the freaking Brits. From Pierce Morgan to telling us how to run our judicial system. Do you know how many people were hung in Great Britain for years and years who did nothing, who did innocent? Don't freaking come over here and tell us how to do things. This is the United States. We are not old England. Yeah, you've tried to do it. And Murdoch has control of one side. If I was a Republican, I'd be more outraged than the freaking Democrats. You think about the Republicans. I mean, you think about Alan Simpson, the great, he would be considered a freaking raven liberal these days. He really would. I mean, what has happened to us? And then the far left. I mean, the right is radicalized via Fox News. Orwell freaking taught him how. He read freaking 1984. It is Orwellian. Your fake structured houses, your fake tits on your wife, your freaking Christian reality. They feed you any kind of plug. And you know what kills me? These people will sit and laugh about it all the way. They'll laugh and laugh. I'll guarantee the CEOs of these freaking corporations sitting like, can you believe these middle-aged? We break them. Redistribution of wealth. For 30 years, we crush them. And they will go to their grave fighting for us. Just like McKellen when he wrote his book. And he said the Bush and those guys just sit around the freak situation room and make fun of the evangelicals. It's the same gig. I'll guarantee they're laughing. The G.O.P. drags this ignorance out. They dummy down the education system and the food chain. If you don't believe me in the food chain, take some, you young people, look at some footage of the 50s, of the 60s, and the 70s, and take a look at the females, or the men for that. I mean, this country was just so massively few, incredibly beautiful females. I mean, it was unbelievable. Now, when did you ever see, now you go somewhere, go inside and look at these sloppy, hanging over, I mean, it's just, it's everywhere. It's grotesque. I mean, I'm not talking big. I mean, big can be elegant and beautiful. I'm talking about sloppy. I mean, what? The food chain dummying down? The education dummying down? Oh yeah. You know, if you ain't the proper education, what does it sound like? You know, here we are. Rupert Murdoch and Alan Greenspan single-handedly indoctrinated freaking ignorant masses. And the left just turned into a bunch of freaking pussies. You think freaking Truman was a pussy? You think freaking FDR was a pussy? You think that both Kennedys, Bobby and John Kennedy was a pussy? You think that freaking Truman was a pussy? They were some of the toughest, strongest men in the history of the freaking world. No. You let them bully you. What'd you turn into? And I can prove to you how you turned into. Cindy Sheehan tried to get you to go to the streets. You wouldn't do it. When Pat Tillman was freaking murdered by his own man, his freaking mother exposed it, tried to get people to rally to go to the streets. Wouldn't do it because you're latte drinking pussies. You're not like him. Democrats were always the strong party. They were this party of strong. So these big fat rednecks, you were the kid in the corner who've been kicked down, shoved in a freaking locker, pissed on, get slapped around, get your lunch money stolen every single freaking day. And you said, I'm going to go tell the principal. That's what the left is. They're a bunch of fucking pussies. God forbid slugging a fucking bully in his mouth. Kevin Blanche.